What's any tissue made of? Cells. And whenever you find the cells, what do you find? The two fluids that take care of them, always. So whenever you see a condition, don't travel down the road of allopathy, because then you'll get confused and everything seems to take on its own persona, and there's no other relationship. It's either an autoimmune or there's something we can't figure it out, and no. Just a bunch of cells and two major fluids. Keep telling yourself that. Sound like a broken record. Good. We want that. Because if you get it, then you know how to fix it. And that's what's important. How do you fix lymphatic or acid problems in the body? Detox. And detoxification is a predominantly base chemistry experience, an experience that fruits, berries, and melons will give you far over vegetables. And of course, using the herbs and kick butt. I'm going to eat this. Look at this. Look at this honey. That thing is so rich. Man, I've been dying to do this. Man. Dang. That is good. Oh. Okay. This is the YouTube people that went from the to the Facebook, and this is the beautiful souls that run the Facebook site, which I'm just so humbled I can't even tell you enough. There's a little war going on here somewhere about JG. Listen, I love you, man. I love you guys. Appreciate this. You know what? People talk about my diets and everything else, and it's like, okay, you know, it is what it is. I don't judge anybody or anything, so it is what it is. We're talking about healing on this site. I've said before, I'm not 100% raw foodist. I try to be. Angela, thank you so much, sweetheart, for your card and your love and support. All of you guys. We're out to heal the world, not to judge the world. We're out to heal the world, be happy. Everybody has their own space and do their own thing. So I appreciate the support, JG. I love you guys. You guys are strong with this. Same old people like to raise trouble and stuff all the time, and it's like, I don't even care. You know what? Find something else to think about if you're losing yourself in there. It's generally a narcissistic statement anyway. Anyway, this is from our great Facebook people. I think there's like 600 or 700 of you guys, man, and these are the cream of the creme. The creme of the creme. It's you guys are the healers, and so absolutely. We're going to talk a lot about this in class too. This is concerned about detoxification. Remember, we talked about the art, the science and practice, and should be the art of detoxification, because let me tell you, it is an art in the sense of maneuvering people through these pathways and this road, because some people are very successful. That's good, honey. And some people are fighting. Some people get the excuse me, the black mucus out. Some people don't. Everybody's at a different level. Everybody's at a different level of lymphatic toxicity, and everybody's at a different level of weaknesses of cells. So all of this combined creates the individual, of course, and that all is impressed by the genetic stance of the cells, whether they're strong or weak, which ones are strong or weak, and that dictates even hormones and steroid issues, neurotransmitter issues. It dictates elimination issues. It dictates everything, because it's all about the cell. This isn't about anything else. It's about the cell. Now, outside of the cell is the two fluids. Now, inflammation, swelling, pain, this is definitely about chemistry in the two fluids. After a while, it becomes about the cell, and that's what we don't want, when it becomes about the cell, because your body exists because of the cells that it's comprised of. So, the big question is weight loss. Now, there is no question that those that are malabsorbed, meaning you're not absorbing your nutrition through your GI tract wall, the biggest hindrance to the absorption of nutrition is going to be the breakdown of the villi, all the acid proteins, high proteins, and the acidosis constantly going down the gut. Because you notice a lot of the digestive enzymes, most of them are base chemistry digestive enzymes, because the gut is, even though there's a mucosa that lines the gut, too much acidosis, and especially in a long GI tract like the Homo sapiens that are ringed, where you have all this absorption going on. This is why these ringed, long GI tracts are not for carnivores. Carnivores have smooth, short, minimally absorbable GI tracts. Ours are extra long and ringed, and then the herbivores are even longer than that. I think it's a crime for anybody to give a herbivore meat in any way, shape, or form. I think that is just cruel punishment, because you're going to make the herbivore sick. Is this what's happening in this genetic line of cattle now? We've ruined our food sources because of our ignorance of health. And who stands at the top of the ignorance of health? Allopathy. And be quite truthful with you, dietitians stand at the top of the ignorant of health. No offense, guys, but you can't follow the natural American Dietetics Association. These guys, they're not scientific. They have no clue. They've been one of the big problems of why our children are the way they are. These organizations need to be terminated and then a new life brought in for the humans on this planet. Or you have the world bankers wanting to get rid of half the humans on the planet. What they don't understand is they're all going to fall to this. They're all falling to these problems. And I don't care how great you think you are, if you're falling to these problems if you're eating these bad diets. And I don't care if you're the Rockefellers, Warburgs, or whoever you are. You've got to understand what health is all about, and we can no longer live in the darkness anymore. It's just no time left on the planet. We've taken it to the edge of the cliff. And now tons of people are falling off the cliff, and it's just disgusting, and we've got to stop that. So thinness, malabsorption, pancreatic weakness is where you're not digesting your foods, and you can see that by undigested vegetable or fruit matter in your stools. That's the pancreas. Your pancreas digests your carbohydrates, which is your fruits and your veggies, and your starches, which is your grains. So when you take a look at that and you see undigested food, that's a big issue. But a bigger issue is the lymph system in the small bowel and the colon wall, where you're not absorbing properly. And this is a very serious issue. You cannot fix that without getting the lymph moving. If it's a malabsorption, and if it's a pancreatic digestive issue, you can't fix that till you get your pancreas digesting foods again. Both of those things are vital to happen in the first stages of nutrition. So for those that are too thin, I don't know what to tell you. I've talked about this before, and I can only say that you've got to grin and bear it, because nobody dies of excessive thinness if you're bringing in the nutrition. I've had people looking like scarecrows. And I told you about a case of a lymphoma case. He looked like a scarecrow. His oncologist was yelling at him for being way too thin. Didn't care that he was dying. Remember, he was a man in a group of 432 people in experimental chemotherapy. 432 people. Now, with the concept of what's on the news right now with chemo, most of those people should be alive right now, right? No, every one of them is dead. And mostly in these studies, every one of them die. And so this young man's not dead because he chose to follow the road of health. But he got a little thin, so I just told him to put weights in his shoes. His oncologist didn't really look at him or care about him. He was just concerned about numbers. And by gosh, he put weights in his shoes, and he's still walking around today, put on a little weight, but he's walking around today with no cancer in him. His lymph system's clean, and 431 others are laying dead because they chose to treat their cancers thinking it was a disease and lied to by the allopathic community. So, and look that up. So you can't freak out with excessive weight loss. If you are, then you must balance out and do fruits and your veggies. You can do coconut, you can do avocado. You got to be careful about shifting up on too much protein, because now you're going to defeat your purpose of what you're trying to do to remedy excessive thinness. And it's funny, to remedy excessive thinness, you could get thinner. And there's nothing you can do about it, because if you throw on starches, it'll acidify you like it does a horse. It'll founder you. In other words, you'll get highly acidic, acidosis, and then of course the excessive sugars will bring in a lot of fungus problems, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then of course, there are acids broken down from the sugars as well as anything else, so you get excessive acidosis from that as well. So you got all that you can't do. You don't want fat on you anyway, so then you're going to go to protein. Well, that's where the bad story is. That's where the problem is. These protein people are getting, losing their kidneys, their bowels, they're all getting the RAs and all these problems, but losing their joints because the body isn't designed for high protein diets. Look at the primates. They're not high protein consumers. Herbivores are not high protein consumers. The proteins, if let's use that word in a fruit, is not as complex as that in a piece of meat, of course. But the piece of meat is a byproduct of the fruit. And the fruit is simple chain amino acids. That's all we need. It's the carbon. We're carbon prints, not nitrogen prints, and medical doctors are lost in this nitrogen print thing. We're not nitrogen prints, we're carbon prints, and that's the big issue. So this excessive thinness, I don't know what to tell you guys. I know some of you are suffering. I know there was one lady that's she's only 5 foot and she's 65 pounds. She wants to be 85 pounds, and it's like, I understand that. I do. But on the journey to getting healthy is fixing digestive problems, malabsorption problems, utilization problems. Big problem that most naturopaths and, of course, medical don't understand at all is utilization of nutrients, steroids, hormones, essential. So the adrenals are so essential to the health of the body, not only in utilization issues, but in elimination issues, and all types of issues. The adrenals, I look at those adrenals and I'm going, I love the pituitary, but the adrenals are like, wow, incredible glands as they are. Aches and pains during the detoxification process. That's the natural process. Matter of fact, remember the 2 times that you feel pain or you feel a problem is 1 when you're creating it and 2 when you're eliminating it. These 2 times, my lovely ones, is when you feel symptoms. And you can have an old injury, 20, 30, 40 years old, that never healed properly because your adrenals were down, your kidneys weren't moving lymph properly. Now you're on the appropriate program to move lymph, to strengthen the cells, to clean the acids out of the body. And these old injuries go, oh, look, my knee's hurting. Look, I was in a car accident 40 years ago. And it'll start healing itself. And then it'll travel somewhere else. The traveling carpenters, as I call them, that's a great sign of detox. When pain is here for a while, over here for a while, it moves around. The question is when you have problems or pain that lasts for months, that to me is more serious. That means 1, you're either not getting it, or your diet is holding everything there. You can be on a fruit and vegetable diet and start going through some detoxing, say have some pain in the right hip, and because of the vegetables, you can hold that detox symptom for weeks and weeks because you're just holding everything right there. You have to either, you got 2 choices. You got to kick it up, meaning get more fruits or fasting, or you kick it down and start adding cooked foods, and that'll take the symptom away. Unfortunately, cooked foods, of course, stops the detoxification program. Interesting, isn't it? And then, of course, then the body moves from cleaning itself out to defending itself, basically. So when you're in a symptom that's hanging there, I suggest you kick it up another notch. If you're already up another notch and it's lasting too long, break your fast. Break it. Stop it. Get out of the way, because there's a time when to hold them and there's a time when to fold them. And if pain's lasting too long in a place and it's ratting you out and you're up there on a high level, then fold them.